So welcome back to yet another briefing. In this course, and I repeat, it's a course on dialogue with strategic purpose, speaking for and with the EU on foreign and security related issues. In the first briefing I went through the concepts including in the course title. In the second I highlighted some of my personal experiences in this context. In the third I stressed the need for overview both in relation to scientific literature on the joy of learning and intrinsic motivation, and at the same time also the need to maintain overview and seeing the context when preparing and implementing dialogue. When preparing the course, I was constantly struck by one thing. Even after having done the book on EU and security, where I really tried to maintain overview, I found that I often got lost precisely the overview that I'm constantly stressing the need of during this course. So this has very much influenced the format for the course, which I'm going to briefly discuss in this introductory video recording. We know from the literature of learning through reading that it's difficult enough to keep an overview of the chapters and sections of a book. More and more people actually do not take the time to read through a book, as I experienced when I put forward my handbook on EU and security last year. Most people look into the book, perhaps using the reference index to find what they are particularly interested in. But it's difficult for most people to take the time, particularly during working hours, when you have pressing duties, to read entire books. It's equally difficult, perhaps even more difficult, to listen to an audiobook or even a podcast without video and keeping the overview. A website can be useful, and I tried to set up such a website with a relatively clear structure. But you don't read through a website either. And then there is a possibility to produce a mind map where you more easily can see the links between different topics and brainstorm about things that you might need to take into account in your dialogue or in the briefing that you are preparing for the hierarchy in view of an upcoming meeting. But then again, this often becomes a bit too theoretical or abstract in order to suffice. So for me, video has become a very useful tool, in particular when visiting any e-learning website, if you are then also mentally prepared to take some time to learn. This preparedness, of course, often is not there when you're just surfing on the internet. Video and audio can, with the editing techniques now available also for private persons like myself, be useful to provide source illustrations which are much more easily consumed than footnotes in books. And then if you combine it, as I do in this course, with frequent references to my handbook and the structure it provides to my website with the many case studies and illustrations it provides, and to the web brain, which gives you a snapshot of a number of links, I thought it might be easier for you to maintain an overview and situational awareness. It certainly has for me, when producing the course, been necessary to go back and forth a little bit in order to keep my own sense of orientation. Then what you can do with the video lecturing system is, of course, to go beyond official texts and also provide a basis for the necessary defensive points that have to be there if you want to go through a dialogue. If you don't have an idea about critical views or possible questions, then it's of course very difficult to enter into constructive dialogue. So this is another important point, that the course will not just link up to official material, but also to questions that have been put in the public debate and so on. I also endeavor in the course to give some examples, for instance, of specific issues and how they have been dealt with in the global strategy. Without illustrations, you of course tend to lose motivation and a sense of purpose, and that's exactly what you want to maintain. And then we have the problem with research, that it often comes out too late in order to really respond to the questions that you have right now. To remedy some of this problem, I have on my website also entered live Twitter feeds relevant to the topics at hand, which can give you additional brainstorming material when you try to see your own dialogue problems in real-time context. So what I recommend you in summary is to use the resources provided by the course, including the handbook, the website, the web brain and the Twitter feed, to give you a sense of real-time situational awareness, to give you concrete illustrations, to provide an overview, and to give you an understanding of pros and cons in any particular dialogue situation. And of course to see the links between different things. You can also use the material to support, just to use it passively, of course, listening in a bus and so on, but to support learning and to give you inspiration. Thank you for listening into this short yet another introductory briefing.